everybody to the Sports Blitz podcast with me, Raleigh Hagler,
and me, Parker Wolford.
And today we have a very special guest,
Isaac Roth. Isaac, tell him a little bit about yourself.
My name's Isaac. I'm getting into this business, kind of my first stepping onto the scene for the first time. So thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
I'm an avid sports follower. Still trying to look into getting into some basketball. Recently, right now, my team is the Grizzlies. But I don't know too much, So, but as far as other sports, football, big Panthers fan. So, big dub this week. And then I'm a Wild fan for the NHL. There's a lot to talk about there, but yeah.
Can I ask you why you're a Grizzlies fan? You want to dive into that, or did you just pick a team and follow them?
I picked a team and follow them, but honestly, I rock with their retro logo and the old stuff. Okay. So
uniforms are important.
They are.
Very important.
I used to love Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Rip Mike Conley.
He used to be the most paid NBA player in the league.
Yeah.
Now that contract is given to no-name bench warmers.
Yep.
So, it is what it is, but let's hop right into it.
Hop right into our first segment of today. Today's going to be a short podcast. We're going to say that, but we still might go over 30 minutes. We don't know. We're going to go quickly into the big games of NCAA and NFL. First, NCAA. Some big games last week. We're going to go with just the upset, some big game. We're going to start something close to home for someone on this podcast. Maybe two people on this podcast.
Let's not.
We're going to go straight into UNC Georgia Tech. Now, this man, Parker, called it last week.
Hey, guys, I literally predicted it. I said every year that we lose to a team like Georgia Tech, and we lost to Georgia Tech last year, I think, and we just lost to Georgia Tech yesterday. What was this final? What was it?
40, it was 2 days ago. 46-42.
Yeah. Wow. It was just it was a thriller, but not for us.
Dang.
So
y'all only scored 14 in the second half. They scored 22 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. But we're a basketball school.
They only scored in 2 quarters, the second and the fourth. So they were just clutch on their homecoming, big game, and everything.
It is what it is.
The next game is UGA. Georgia.
By the way, guys, I just want to say this. I'm so sorry for eating the mic. I had numerous people text me, call me, talk to me, saying, "Parker, why are we blowing in the mic?" And I have no answer. I'm sorry. But it won't happen again going forward.
It might be happening right now.
It might. But look, the mic is right here, and I'm not touching it. I'm not near it. So I'm going to stay right here.
One right now.
Isaac's the closest. We'll back it up a little bit.
What do you think of that UNC Georgia Tech game, Isaac?
It's kind of upsetting. I was at work, and I was just keeping track of the scores. Look at the score, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good bounce back after last week. Spoke too soon, obviously, because I got back home from work and looked at the score, and I was like, bro. You gotta be kidding me, bro.
It is what it is, though, man. You just gotta... I cannot wait for basketball. We're not even going to get into UNC basketball yet.
That's going to be on next week podcast.
Next week, we'll talk about that.
Next week.
I can't wait for UNC basketball this year.
Reminder, we're filming this on Monday night, so there's Monday Night Football going on right now. There's...
Let me pull up the score.
There's some games.
I don't know. I think
NBA's going. Right, so there's still that, but this will be posted on a Tuesday. So next we got Georgia, Florida. We're gonna quick fire through these because Georgia just dominated, 43-20. Gave up the first touchdown on the first drive, 66 plays in about 3 minutes, I think, of football. But Carson Beck really showed it with 315 yards, two passing, big run game. We don't have the best line in there right now. Some of our guys are hurt. Without Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey just came in and dominated with...
That's got to be y'all's dog of the week.
Dog of the week. Ladd McConkey, 135 yards, 1 touchdown on only 6 catches, and that first touchdown he had, where it was thrown down 20 yards down the field from Carson Beck, he just stopped on a dime and turned the other way and scored from the 21 for a 41-yard touchdown. What a pass from Carson Beck to find his man.
Now, I'm a avid Georgia, not hater, but doubter in some points. But Georgia definitely showed it this week with the dominant win. What do you think, Isaac? 43-20.
Yeah,
Georgia.
It's just straight dominance.
Yeah,
you can't nothing you can do. For me personally, I do like to see a little bit of a change up in and the scenery of college football.
I don't.
Obviously you don't.
I don't.
It's your favorite team.
It's my favorite team. I've been waiting my whole life for a championship. First the Braves did it, and then the Dogs did it the same year. We just can't stop winning. And I'm gonna knock on wood.
That must be nice.
Well,
I'm sure I would say the same thing if my favorite team was winning.
Let's talk about your favorite team. Let's talk about them. The Carolina, I don't even care.
Oh, you don't care?
I don't even care.
We're just going to go on favorite teams.
What we're talking about right now. The Carolina Panthers get their first win. Let's all give them a round of applause. 1-6?
Yeah, 1-6.
Nice. Okay.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the boys. Like Bryce Young said, though, in his post-game press conference, this is one win in Week 8. So, yes, we're excited we get a win. But it's Week 8 and one win. So there's a lot to clean up and a lot to work on.
You want that attitude out of your QB1, though.
And of course, yeah. And for me personally, what I love seeing out of Bryce Young is him getting in the locker room and just being an absolute monster. Just so hyped up. It was what I saw, the video I saw was I never seen him act like that in Alabama. Never. And he's a chill guy. And
he probably couldn't act like that in Alabama.
Probably.
Nick Saban probably didn't like it.
But it's just I've been kind of waiting for that kind of attitude from Bryce Young because he came in so calm, chill, and and I understand because I'm kind of like that, but for Bryce, and I think he performed well, and I think his attitude I don't think it hurts him in the way he acts, but I think for the team that kind of attitude and motivation is just. It pushes the team even further ahead. So, but
of course,
yeah, great game.
Hey, y'all go play the Colts next week.
Yeah, that's a bigger game.
Okay. At home, the Colts are already favored by 2.5.
Is Gardner Minshew playing?
Gardner Minshew was hurt during the Saints game when the Saints.
Yeah.
Hey, played one of their better.
2 in a row. We'll get into game picks. We'll get into game picks.
We start talking when they get 3 in a row because 3's a streak, boys. 3's a streak.
All right. Let's get back on track. Oklahoma.
Oh my.
You hate to see it if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah.
It is. Well, we talked about that game on our podcast.
On our podcast, we were keeping up
live
when he scored a 1-yard touchdown into the end zone. That's our clip that you probably saw on social media this week. But yeah, big 38-33 win for Kansas. Jumped into the top 25 with that. What's the next game? USC. Now, boys, I put this one up. Should USC be ranked tomorrow night?
No.
Again, on Tuesday.
No.
Should they be ranked, Isaac? What do you think? No?
I think it should already be out, bro, to be honest.
Yeah, you think it should be out? Yeah, but they still need these 3 days to, decide. Next we got Oregon and Utah. What a big game for Oregon. Completely dominant on the field, and just showed who was the best in the Pac-12.
And I will say this, and I'm not. Look, I said this 5 minutes ago. I'm not a Georgia hater, but if you're Georgia, are you scared of Oregon?
Never.
Okay.
Because we got an insider in that team. Dan Lanning is a true dog. Nah, I'm joking.
Is that cheating?
It's taking advantage of your opponents. That's what it is.
Okay.
Nah, but Dan Lanning's a good coach.
We'll see.
Oregon State lost to Arizona, guys. What a horrible loss for them. 27-24.
I never really was a big believer in Oregon State.
No,
unfortunately. But
Arizona's having a quiet season over there in Arizona.
5-3 isn't bad.
3-2 in Pac-12, and probably those 2 losses. I think one's to USC in overtime, and the other one, I don't know who the other one is, so I can't name it right off the bat. The next one is Louisville over Duke. What a big game for Louisville over there. Louisville showing business. Beating Duke 23-0, knocking Duke out of the top 25. Should have been replaced by Liberty, but the AP poll doesn't know what it's doing half the time. We'll know this week.
I mean, if UNC would have won, this would have been a perfect weekend, and it just would have been great.
But UNC, I think UNC dropping out of the top 25 hurt Liberty in a way, because Liberty went down in rankings because of that. It's just and other stuff, but
yeah, I think UNC is 27 or something.
Yeah.
I don't even
something
know.
like that.
If you're not ranked if you're not top 25, I don't care. But let's move on before I get too emotional. Let's talk about your Saints.
Saints, Saints had a good game against not the Cowboys, against the Colts. A good win. What do you think about that? Did you watch? You watched a little bit of it.
I did watch. I enjoyed it. I think the Saints are a good team. I think their defense is
top 10, arguably.
Yeah.
Arguably, could be top 5.
Don't say it.
No.
Arguably.
Top 10, we can talk. But I just think the Saints are a good team overall. I think they got too much hype going into the season.
Agreed.
But now I don't think they get enough.
And that's what Derek Carr wants.
Yeah.
That's what.
Well, it's because they're don't they have the easiest schedule in the league?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
And we do play the Panthers twice.
Which I hate basing your strength of schedule on analytics, because all of that is based on the year before.
Yeah, that's true. And now
and the landscape of the NFL completely changes in 1 year. So that's just I mean, do I think you guys have an easy schedule? Yes, but anyway.
I just wish one thing from the Saints that I wish I saw more of and I see more of is the targets on Michael Thomas, because
and Chris Olave.
Well, Chris Olave gets those targets, but it's either overthrown, or he can't make the catch because he's getting guarded very heavy.
Yeah.
Because people realize, hey, this guy's kind of good. Let's guard him. So that leaves.
Kind is an understatement. He's a. If you get him no disrespect. If you get him with a good quarterback, he's top 15.
Yeah.
With a good quarterback.
Yeah.
We might have, arguably, one of the low
tier quarterbacks.
Not low. No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about the GOAT, Shaheed.
He's very good.
And he got
very good.
That speed with the 58-yard touchdown pass from Derek Carr, who probably threw. That was probably his best ball of the day. Like,
not even arguable.
Down.
Not even arguable.
Like, best throw of the day, perfectly led. Shaheed, and he got that speed, ran straight down and got that touchdown. The next one is the Cowboys.
Let's talk about it. Yeah. Okay, so the Cowboys with a dominant, and that's what I love to see that. A dominant win over the Rams, 43-20, and at one point in the game it was 33-3, and then we just obviously you put the backups in, they scored a little bit here and there, but let's talk about the dog of the week in the NFL. In my opinion, he had the best week out of any player, CeeDee Lamb. 158 yards, 2 touchdowns on 12 receptions. You give CeeDee Lamb the ball more than 10 times, he gets you more than 125 yards.
That was also 41 fantasy points.
Yes.
You had him on your bench, guys. I don't know what you're doing.
Why would you have CeeDee on your bench in the first place?
Maybe because you probably had like 2 dogs on your team, and you were like, maybe I shouldn't play CeeDee.
Anyway, obviously Dak had a great game. 304. With 4 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but it was... I'm not going to say it wasn't his fault, but it wasn't his fault.
Well, it bounced off of 3 guys.
Yeah.
I'm literally saying that's not even it. What do you think, Isaac? Do you think that
Did you see the interception? I didn't see the interception.
I'll describe it to you. Guy goes up in the air for defensive line.
Like he's running this way, and the ball is over here. He tips it with his left hand, and it tips.
And then it tips off the tight end went to go grab it. He should have caught that ball.
I think it was Sean McEwen.
He went to go one-handed when he had 2 hands right there. I mean, he could have went for that second hand, but it was being kind of held back. So it bounced off his hand, and the other dude was just sitting there because it got bounced back into the dude's. And it was like,
I think we can't put that on Dak, to be honest. But
that's why I think the interception on a receiver dropping a ball should be like kind of counted for.
You can't do that though, because that's all subjective.
Yes.
Or objective. My bad.
But I'm saying, like, someone running down, they completely missed the ball.
Well, if you did have that stat, then I mean, Dak would have less than 10 interceptions last year. Maybe less than 8.
Maybe not say that they're not interceptions, but like say they're like non or
maybe put an asterisk on them. Maybe put an asterisk
or something like that. Unforced.
Yeah.
He didn't force it in there. Something like that.
Obviously, Dak had he has 5 picks on the year now. He had 1 in I think week 2, and he had 3 against the 49ers. Now he has 1 against the Rams. But let's move on.
Can we talk about something else though?
Yeah.
You mentioned that Dak Prescott had 4 touchdowns, but who else had 4 touchdowns this week?
Oh,
Will Levis.
Will Levis with one of the best performances of the week. I mean,
I think
Top
so.
3 performance.
Top 3.
I mean, in his
Him
first
and
performance.
Yeah.
him and DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
He had
Again,
3 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns.
Look at like prime
I
Tom
mean-
Brady
No.
to
Right after the D-Hop
Moss.
trade rumors, he said 1, 2, 3, and he put the finger over his mouth. Guys, what do we think about D-Hop now?
well,
I think he's staying.
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
if they
too.
can find
I
a
think
life with Will Levis at QB, like for me, I don't know. I can't call it a fluke. Like Will Levis has something to fight for. Like he wants to go in there and he wants to prove everybody wrong.
I'm
So
calling it
he's
a
got
fluke until he takes the mayo out of the coffee.
that. Yeah, that's what
That's criminal.
That-
That's
for sure.
criminal.
But like on a real, like I think we keep eyes on Will Levis. He looked pretty awful in like training camp
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that in practice.
He's got an arm on
I'm
him.
just
It's
saying-
his
He's got a-
accuracy.
he's got an
His
arm, yeah.
accuracy.
The favorite meme I have seen from this week has been it's like Will Levis when his girlfriend comes back.
She cheated
No,
on
yeah.
him. Didn't
Yeah,
she?
it's like comes back from.
We don't want to
after-
talk about
no,
relationships,
no.
but I think she cheated on him with Morgan Wallen.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She
Anyway,
said, I don't want to stay
anyway,
there for 3 nights.
So Will Levis plays the Steelers on Thursday Night Football.
Woo!
So we'll see. I don't know if
If this is a
Kenny Pickett's playing,
fluke, do you think they give Malik a chance?
but- No, they're not giving.
Or do
Malik
you
a
think they
chance.
trade him to? I'll segue into the next. To the Kirk Cousinless Vikings. Or do you
I think Ryan Tannehill goes
Do you
there.
think one of
Yeah.
those two go there?
Oh, I even heard
honestly-
something. Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, I don't know. I think the Vikings are hurting. It's obvious.
Mhm.
Like their backup quarterbacks. But you gotta start packing up your bags.
Yeah.
You might as well pack up the season. And I think this is even.
Meow.
Yeah. I think this is even worse for Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson too. Like, but just like
Do you
the
think?
impact that Jordan Addison has had on his team and honestly just for his career is incredible. And part of it is because of Kirk Cousins. And I don't know if either one of the quarterbacks can come in and like provide that. But I think Jordan Addison can help his quarterback.
Let me just say this real quick before it loses my mind.
Okay.
Or before it leaves my mind. Guys, the Vikings have won 4 of their last 5.
Yes.
And Kirk Cousins has played like an MVP before he tore his Achilles.
yes.
Yeah. 100%.
He was top 3 in every major statistic for a quarterback. And sometimes he was even 1.
He had 270
Players up to Kirk. That's so
270
sad.
yards. But do you think the Vikings are like?
Legit?
No. If they don't get a quarterback by tomorrow, by the way, by tomorrow,
Yeah. Trade deadline. Can't wait.
do you think they just go? What the heck?
Who do you trade
Let's-
for though?
Let's just get rid of the whole situation.
No, you don't.
Not Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson,
Who are you talking about?
whoever they want to.
Like
Yeah.
Daniil Hunter, maybe.
Maybe
Hey.
like some vets,
Hey,
like vets.
listen, we kind of talked. There were some rumors going around when the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers if they were going to trade, and two
They
big
s-
names that came up that I thought were interesting were Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton.
They won't get him.
You think the Vikings are making the calls?
No.
No, I think if
I think
someone.
Colin Kaepernick is making some emails.
I mean,
He wants to play on a team
he
with that.
does that every time a position goes
Yeah.
Yes.
goes up. I mean, I don't even want to touch on that situation.
All right, and I think the last team we were gonna. Oh, 2 more teams, real quick.
I'm having so much fun. with you
Reaction.
guys, by the way. I'm having so much
Reaction.
fun. I love this.
Same reaction to the Chiefs game and the reaction
Are
to
the
the
Chiefs
night.
frauds?
No,
I think that was a fluke just because of Patrick Mahomes being sick.
He didn't. He
But
played pretty bad.
He did play.
He
only
played
had-
pretty bad for his standards. He had 2 picks, 0 touchdowns.
and only 5 fantasy points. If we're gonna base it off that too, that is a bust, a
Yeah.
bad bust. But it's just a bad game. So, all right, now 49ers. This man's about to go off.
All right, guys.
Oh nope. Go.
I'm gonna stay away from the mic, though. I'm gonna stay away from the mic. Thank you for telling me that.
Yep.
The 49ers have lost 3 since their Week 4 Super Bowl.
When George Kittle wore a shirt that said something
That said something really bad.
really bad.
So Brock Purdy is a future McDonald's employee.
A future MVP, Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player.
He's played very bad. I'm not hating because I don't really hate Brock Purdy, but he had 365 passing yards nonetheless. But he had 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I think he's had 8 total turnovers in the last 3 weeks. Very tough. Very tough.
It's not just offense though. The defense gave up 31. That's still.
But when you give your defense, or when the defense of the Bengals force more turnovers, that puts the defense back out there. You can't blame it all on the. Okay, we'll say 75% offense, the rest for the defense, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't think you can really debate that. I think Brock Purdy has played very mediocre without stars. And I think if you put Sam Darnold in there with, I'm not even going to say that. I think if you put Sam Darnold in there with every one of the stars they have, he does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm a big Brock Purdy fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Brock Purdy fan. I'm a big Christian McCaffrey fan. I think. Side comment from Brock Purdy, but what is it? 17 consecutive games with touchdowns.
I think it might be 18 now.
I think it's 17. I think he tied it this year.
Gosh.
Which is insane, and I know he's gonna extend that streak to like 20 something. I mean,
I seen a thing on Instagram that said if you bet on a McCaffrey anytime touchdown and rolled that money over, you would have $500,000.
Yeah. It's like, and it's honestly ridiculous. And Brock Purdy, like, he might not be playing well, but he can get you into the red zone, and then you have the weapons to get you in. He can get you into the red zone, and you have the weapons to get you into the end zone.
The best running back in the league, undebatable.
And,
I mean, it is what it is.
I remember when honestly the Panthers drafted Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So, and I remember when everybody thought Leonard Fournette was going to be better than Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And now look where we're standing.
I think he was picked. What was Leonard Fournette's pick? Number 2?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it was number 2.
Yeah.
And I think. I'm not sure about that. You can fact check me on that.
I mean,
insane. Very good, very good player.
Yeah.
And you guys got a haul out of him, right?
Yeah.
Two second round picks.
Yeah.
We
got a lot more than that.
Yeah.
We got like seconds, fourths, fifths, thirds. Like we got everything. So that was good. But speaking of Leonard Fournette too, he sat half of the season pretty much in free agency. I don't know. I don't really know why. Maybe it was just because people thought he was a bust. But today we found out he's getting signed to the Bills. So
very interesting.
Which is bad for my team because I have Cook on my. James Cook.
He's gonna get even less.
Which he's doing good.
Yeah.
It's just like
maybe he's just your red zone
throwing
back.
the ball.
Maybe he's just your red zone back. Yeah. Power back. Maybe.
Power back.
Like
I don't know if I should change him out. I'm gonna have to go into my.
I picked up Leonard Fournette.
Really?
I might test the waters this week and see what they do with James Cook. So.
But yeah. Anyways, back to Brock Purdy. I really don't think he's a bust. I think he's still a starting quarterback. I think it's an overreaction to say, all right, we are moving on from Brock Purdy.
You definitely don't do that.
Yeah, you gave him one season, and he has done well. He's done good. If we're gonna rate it on a scale, he hasn't done like spectacular. I mean, there are times where he's looked spectacular, but I do think it's because of his receiving corps. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, but he's not by any means a bust. So
no.
We'll see how it plays out though.
You can't be a bust when you're the last pick. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, you can be a bust actually.
You can go back to the XFL.
Yeah, you can go undrafted.
I mean, it is what it is. So next thing we're gonna talk about is this is all Raleigh right here, because me and Isaac, I don't think we have very much knowledge on the topic. No. So Raleigh, NASCAR.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, start your engine. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. Copyright. So we're going to the final race of the whole season. It's Phoenix, baby. It's the short track. It's a weird short track, but we got 4 drivers remaining: Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and my favorite driver, the Liberty guy, William Byron. William Byron's coming off one of the best seasons that anybody's seen, but had one of the worst races of his career last week, but barely squeaked in because his brother-in-law, which, long story about that, his brother-in-law, Ryan Blaney, has won the race instead of Denny Hamlin. If Denny Hamlin won, then William Byron would have been out probably because Ryan Blaney was having a great day, but Denny Hamlin, nah. Denny Hamlin had a really decent race, was up there, but then dropped out, lost by 8 points, lost out from his first championship I think he was in it last year, but first championship hopeful ever. He hasn't won a championship. Only one driver from this Final Four has made it, and that's Kyle Larson. And he did that 2 years ago. Last year, it was Joey Logano that won. So this year, we have 3 guys that could win it this year. And I think if you're putting money on it, which we don't do money bets on this podcast, I'm putting my money on William Byron. Won Phoenix this year already, and this is the second race at Phoenix. But Ryan Blaney has gotten second two times, the past 2 times at Phoenix. Last year in the race and against William Byron. Now, I think William Byron, yes, the only reason he had a bad race was because tire issues. The second one was because just going in the race, AC cuts off, and he's hot. He's hot inside that. Everything, the cooling pads, but his helmet, he said it felt like a microwavable oven in there. Like, he was burning inside. He got out and started pouring water all over his head. He was spraying water, and he looked defeated. But he knew that he's going to have to give it all next week. So, that's everything for the NASCAR part. We'll see you next week when we talk about NASCAR and who won the championship. But if you're putting anything on it, put it on William Byron.
By the way, I know this isn't on the schedule. I listened to this last night during the Sunday night game. They were talking about Austin Eckler had himself in fantasy. And I'm not going to say that rubbed me the wrong way.
No.
At all. Because I don't care. I'm actually one of the ones that doesn't care about that. But if you're going to let NFL players do fantasy, why is NFL players getting suspended whole seasons, seasons?
I know where you're going with this.
On betting. I know, okay, you could say
you're getting
they
money
can be in a fantasy league without money.
No, I still think money's okay, but I don't think you should be, because if you, you're making even more money. If you do, we're doing $50, which most of those guys don't do money. They do either you win and you get to do something, or you lose and you do a punishment. That's what most of them do anyway. And I think if you do money, I think you actually do get caught, because that is gambling.
I think if NFL players want to gamble, they're going to find a way to gamble. And
there's a will, there's a way.
And I don't really see why it's a humongous... Okay, I think NFL players should definitely get disciplined for it. I'm not going to say that. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I am okay with NFL players getting suspended whole seasons and half seasons for gambling. That's a whole year off their career just off of betting that they will get 75.5 yards. I think that's stupid, but we'll move on.
All right, we're gonna go over NBA real quick. I know there's only been 4 games for most teams, 3 games for others, and 2 for some. That I don't know why they only played 2. We're gonna talk about the most dominant game of the season up to this time. Not the Hawks over Timberwolves. That just finished, where we just came back from a 19-point deficit to win by 14. No. We're talking about how the Hawks absolutely dominated the Bucks last night. 8 guys with over 12 points. Dame Dollar. 6 points. 4 turnovers. Not a good night in the office for Dame Dollar. And then Giannis had an average night with 24 points.
Average
night.
Wow.
Maybe a little mediocre. But, no, I think those were some of the best. That's most dominant right now. There hasn't been a more dominant team win in this season. And it might stand for a while, unless there's a team that goes in.
I mean, what's your definition of dominant? Because the Clippers just beat the Spurs by 40.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's the semester. No, I just think the Hawks were 0-2, and the Bucks were either 1-2. No, they were 1. They were 1-0, because I think they only played 1 game.
Yeah, they were.
And the Bucks made a huge trade, and it's all this hype, and then they go into Milwaukee.
Reserved.
They go into Milwaukee, and shut them down for all 4 quarters. Now, how did LeBron do this week?
I think he had a 25-point double-double last night, and I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and I'm going to say Darvin Ham doesn't last the rest of the season.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that because you have a guy that is 39 years old that is having to carry a basketball team full of young talent. And I'm not saying that's all because of Darvin Ham, but if you watch the games, it's horrible substitutions. I think, for example, I can't remember the exact moment in the game or the person, but you take out a guy who's scorching hot for a guy off the bench that hasn't done much for you since he's been there. I think it's kind of annoying, but I don't think Darvin Ham lasts the rest of the season.
And your favorite team?
The Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies.
Not a very good start without Ja.
I think it's gonna be a struggle for the first 25 games, maybe.
Yeah.
But as long as y'all keep it like around 500, hopefully a little bit over.
You just gotta keep it. We can't just be like losing games like that though. Like,
yeah.
We gotta get a win soon.
Right now you're down 13 to probably one of the teams to beat out west, the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Who will go 3-0 after this. I mean, they're probably one of the teams to beat.
The Mavericks are very good, and if Luka keeps playing like how he's playing right now, which I think he can, he's going to be the MVP, and I think they might win the finals.
DeJounte Murray had one of the best, had a great game tonight. 41 points.
Wow.
And had 22 in one quarter, and went 11-11 for the longest time. But...
Can I talk about the Mavericks a little bit more?
Yeah, talk about the Mavericks a little bit more. We gotta go a little bit quicker. I think we're already at 31 minutes, so... Sorry for going a little bit longer. We're having fun on here.
Yeah.
And y'all should have fun with us, too.
When you look at a guy like Luka Doncic, tonight he has, in the fourth quarter, the game's pretty much over. I'm sure he's not in the game anymore. 39 minutes, he has a 33-point triple-double with 13 rebounds and 12 assists. And you have a guy like that, and then... You have a guy sometimes that can be a spark plug for you and catch an alley-oop for you, Derek Lively. I hate to say it. He had a very bad night tonight. 13 minutes, 2 points, 0 assists, 5 rebounds. That's what he's going to give you most of the night, or most nights. He had a very good first game. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think he's back to earth tonight. Derrick Jones Jr. on the Mavericks. Is that the guy with a very good bounce? Is that the guy that can...
Maybe. I can't remember.
He had 22. I think he may come off the bench. He had 22 points and 3 assists. So, if you guys wouldn't mind, let me bring this up real quick. Let me talk about this. I want to talk about the season leaders just in points. In points today. Number 1, we have Luka Doncic with 40. This is before all the games tonight, by the way. Luka Doncic with 41. He's averaging 41 points.
I don't think we should consider 40 points.
And I'm not saying we should.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to talk about the starts these players are having. Cam Thomas. Why is nobody talking about Cam Thomas? 33 points. 33. He's averaging 33 points right now.
I think we should wait a couple of, a little bit. Like
I'm just talking about right now.
Before we decide,
De'Aaron Fox is having a very good season.
Points per game matter.
They do.
I know, but we should wait about a week. I know it's already been a week, but
I'm not putting players in any kind of category right now. I'm just talking about what they're.
I know. I'm just saying
Obviously, Tyrese Maxey has been probably the best player on the 76ers this year. I'm not going to lie to you, because Embiid, he's going to give you 31 a night, but he's also putting up a lot of shots on those games. But anything to say about your Mavericks or your Grizzlies?
Nah, nothing. Just disappointment, Just disappointment.
It is what it is.
I'm picking losing teams. Not picking, but I have losing teams this year. The Wild not doing good.
Really?
Panthers not doing good. Other than the.
Do you want to talk about NHL a little bit? Or no?
We can talk about our two teams.
I don't have a team.
Yeah.
The Avs started 6-0. Yeah, 6-0 with one shootout win, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then we go and lose the next 2 games to the Penguins and the Sabres. But not a lot of. A lot of people. I haven't met a lot of hockey fans where I'm from, but I'm from Georgia, so there's not a lot of hockey fans. But the Avs are gonna do good. We have 3 great probably the best trio in the league, one of, and then you got some great positional players, really good goalie with Gorgio. I think you say Gorgio, and you got Rantanen, Cal Maker, and it's slipping my head right now. I can't think of our third guy. But yeah, what do you think about your Wild?
Yeah, it's kind of, and I think there's a lot that plays into the way they're playing right now. But first game you come in with a dominant performance by Philip Gustafson, shutout against the Panthers. I think they shot like over 50 shots or something that game.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah. And,
Oh yeah.
And we still won that game.
The goalie was doing work in the.
Yeah.
Did they score?
Yeah, he had 41 saves.
Dang.
So,
it's crazy now. You know they lose 10 pounds of sweat every game?
yeah.
He probably lost 25.
Yeah. So
I need to be a goalie one day.
you go in dominant performance over the Panthers, and then you go in and get absolutely killed by the Maple Leafs, and then you're like, okay. Then you win against Canadians, and you're like, okay, bounce back. Then you lose against the Kings, almost the exact same way to the Maple Leafs. Lose to the Blue Jackets in a shootout, then kill the Oilers, and then get killed by the Flyers. So where are we at? Like, and a lot of it has to do with our players. I mean, Matt Boldy, who was it? Matt Boldy, Alex Goligoski. Those are two like huge players who are out right now. Like just absolutely massive. Like especially on defense. I mean, like we had to call up Dakota Mermis and Damian Hunt, and call up Vinny Lettieri. So
Yeah.
it's just like we're really hurting right now. And even our coach Dean Evison, like he's just swapping around lines just to get some production. And I think star on that team right now is Marco Rossi. I know Ryan Hartman just had a crazy last 4 games or so, 7 points in the last 4 games or something.
Dang.
He had a hat trick one game. But Marco Rossi, coming into last year, started on the team, won like 20-something games, like almost no points, no goals, and almost barely no points. And now he's like, I'm here to stay. This is my team.
He's showing.
This is my line, yeah. And he's playing well. And then the other part of that team that we need more production from is Kirill Kaprizov. He's not failing. He's still playing very well, but he's just not scoring. And maybe it'll just take a little bit. Maybe he's just getting back into it. But I mean, I think this is like a 50-plus goal season for him, and it needs to be, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah. Well. All right. I think we're gonna end it off here because we're already at 35 minutes, and we try to make it 30 minutes. But I think we were gonna do top 5s, but like I said, we wanted a short podcast today. We already went over. I think we're at 36 minutes.
Saying it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all
maybe on Friday you can come in real quick. Give us your top 5 in one position in the NFL, if you want to.
Yeah.
But
Gotta think about that one.
you gotta think about it. You gotta, sit down. Gotta do the whole entire list.
We'll do wide receivers.
We'll do wide receivers to make it easy.
Yeah.
But all right, so be here. I guess we'll record Friday. I don't know if we'll do it Friday or put it out on Friday or put it out on Saturday. But this podcast is over, I guess.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Well, this is Raleigh Hagler,
Parker Wolford.
Isaac Roth.
and we'll see you next time.